Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel. It's really good to have you back. If you're new here and you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that right now because we've got loads of fishing, load of product reviews and all kinds of good stuff coming up in the near future. Make sure you hit that subs button, hit the bell icon and we'll keep you in touch and let you know when all the videos are coming soon. For those of you who are regulars, thank you very much for coming back, really appreciate it. We've got one of the vlogs that you guys seem to really enjoy coming up here. We've noticed this on the view counts on different videos. There's a real trend for the budget tackle that you can pick up on the dark areas of eBay or Amazon or Wish or places like that. There's a whole world of fishing tackle out there that's waiting to be discovered by those of you who are daring enough to go out there and take the risk buying this stuff. We've done it with Amazon, we've done it with Wish, we've done it with eBay, and we've got another one today that I think is really cool. So only about 10 days ago, I ordered a new reel off Amazon from a brand called Basics. But it's spelt weird. I don't know what brand it is. I think it's just some weird Chinese brand. I was fully expecting this to take like 6 or 8 weeks to turn up like the previous Wish reel did. But within 7 days, through the letterbox came a padded envelope with this in it. And that's all it was in. There was no box, there was no instructions, there was absolutely nothing. But it was super quick. And actually, for those of you in the UK, it came from a UK warehouse. It didn't take very long at all. But straight away, no box, no instructions. I was a little bit skeptical. But what we've got in here actually appears to be a fairly pretty little 3 to 4 weight machined aluminium fly reel with a drag system. And believe it or not, I've paid £18 for this. Now we've just checked the listing, the price has gone up by £2 on Amazon, but still, this would cost you 20 quid on the day that we film this. It's staggeringly cheap. So we thought we need to come out and test one of these. Is this actually any good? Is it worth the money? Sorry for interrupting the vlog there guys, I just wanted to go through something very quickly. So my plan was here, I was going to buy 2 different reels, one off Amazon and one off eBay, review them both separately as separate reels, and I thought that'd be really cool because it'd be, you know, more kind of budget reel reviews. So the first one turned up, the one that you're watching the vlog on at the moment, in a nice little pouch like that. You can see that's the one, it says Leo on the back. This is the one you're watching the review of right now. And about a week after this turned up, the other one turned up, the one I bought from eBay. So I was really excited to have a look at this and see what was going on. Immediately I saw it was in exactly the same pouch and I had a feeling I knew what was coming. And while this one may look a little bit more funky because it's got the blue spool and also comes in an option for green as well, and has a slightly different backplate, which is a real close rip-off of the loop symbol by the way, they are the same reel. I've tried it, the spools swap over, they're exactly the same reel, so there's no point me doing a review of both of these for you, they're exactly the same reel. So keep in mind, if you're watching this thinking, yeah, that looks pretty cool, but you don't buy off Amazon, there's going to be an affiliates link in the description box below for you to buy one of these off eBay. They're basically the same price, they're sub 20 quid. Please do remember that anytime you buy something that's linked in the description box below on our channel, you'll be buying through an affiliate link, so that means that IB and I get a tiny little slice of that sale. It doesn't cost you anything. The money comes off Amazon or eBay's bottom line, but all that money goes back into the channel. You'll be supporting IB and I. You'll find links to both of these reels in the description box below. Andy, get on with the review. So the Amazon listing for the Basics aluminium fly reel gives you 3 different options, and actually they're in diameters as well as line ratings. So this is rated a 3 to 4. It's actually, as you can see, quite a tiny little piece of kit. I'm a bit worried that particularly the 4-weight line might not fit on there. We're about to find out because we're going to do a little bit of fishing. But before then, I just want to go through a couple more of the specs on this thing. The Amazon listing said this is 100 grams in weight. Now, when IB and I are going to get back, we're going to measure this on a scale. We'll B-roll that over now because it feels to me a little bit heavier than that actually. Don't get me wrong, it's not heavy, but for a little reel, it's a fair little chunk. That would be great for those of you who are looking to match it up on a longer French leader system or something like that. And for those of you for whom weight isn't that much of an issue, it really isn't that bad. 74 millimeters across, they describe it as a 3 to 4. As I say, I think is a little bit small for that. The spool removes just as you'd expect. Unscrew the captive nut, pop that off. And the internals on this are remarkably similar to the Wish reel that we did the review of about 12 or 18 months ago. It wouldn't surprise me if they were from the same factory, because the little roller bearing in there, which you can reverse, is exactly the same. It's fixed in exactly the same way. It's not that much of an issue. The little Wish reel is still going absolutely fine. I can see no reason, as long as it's treated well, that this one wouldn't last just as long as well. Pop that back on there. So everything on here is machined aluminium, including the handle. Really nice quality handle. Drag knob on the back, still machined aluminium. I have noticed there is a little bit of a gap there in between the drag knob and the actual reel housing itself. I think if you were to throw this into a bucket of sand, it would probably get a little bit gritty. But for those of you who are treating your kit properly, who are careful with it, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. And if you need to, you could unscrew this and get in and clean it up. I really don't think it's that much of an issue, but it's maybe one of the things that would stand out between a reel of this price and a reel that you get from a proper angling brand. There are other sizes available on the Amazon listing. Actually, I'd be quite interested to see the 5 to 6 size, which I think would probably be a slightly more sensible size for the type of fishing that IB and I do. There's also another big one, there's a 7 to 9, which for you guys who are fishing the still waters and the reservoirs and stuff like that would probably be really interesting. I think it's really cool that you can get this in different sizes. In terms of a little reel like this, what are you going to do with it? Well, we're out here today on the Derbyshire Derwent. I'm going to first of all rig this on my French leader outfit, and I think this would be appropriate for that, because you don't need massive line capacity. All we've got on our French leader reels normally is backing and the 10 metre French leader, so you don't need lots of space. The other rod that I've got with us is an 8'3" weight that we're going to use to throw some duo stuff. Now I'm a little bit worried about that one because the reel's got a 4-weight line on it and I'm not 100% sure it's going to fit on here. That could be a real problem. We'll see how we get on. But first of all, I want to jump in, have a play around with the French leader, try and catch a few fish, see if there's any issues with the line getting through the cage and stuff like that, and see if the 18 quid basics Amazon fishing reel is actually worth it. Right, first things first, I've got to get that one off there and onto there. This might take a little bit of time. Ooh. Right, so as you can see, all rigged up, and actually it's pretty tight. This shows how much bigger the 3/4 weight reels that IB and I use are than the 3/4 weight reel that we've got off Amazon here. But it just about goes on. There's about 150 meters of back in there and the French leader. Obviously it doesn't need that much back in, it's just how we fill up our reels. I will add some context here. Obviously you guys saw me in a massive tangle. I was just trying to re-rig the reel, but this is really bad. And then we tried again, and then I had to walk across the field, and then I lost the flies on the tippet rings twice. So it's actually an hour since I started rigging this up, in which time someone else has come through and fished the pool that we sat at, but I'm hoping there'll still be a few fish there, maybe even something that'll test the drag system on the new reel. Let's give it a go. Righty, let's climb in here, see what we can do. As I say, one chap has just fished through here, but he fished through so quickly that I don't think I'm too worried about it. Little red tag on the point, little hot put pheasant tail on the dropper. Let's give this a good searching through. There we go, there's a fish. Don't think this one's going to test the drag system. But it's a fish, it's the first fish on the Amazon reel. Little wild bruni. Come on buddy, he took that little pheasant tail. Beautiful little fish. Future of the river. So you can see there, in terms of balance with the rod, that reel is, for me, the reel is a little bit light for this rod. You can see the tip there's dropping, which means that when you're holding it, you're always going to be fighting that tip drop. On our Sierra reels, the one that we use on this most regularly, that pretty much balances straight in my hand. The Sierra is slightly heavier, so probably for a longer rod like this, you'd want the larger size of these reels. Definitely already starting to feel the lack of weight here. It sounds weird, you would think that a lighter reel would just be easier to hold, but actually I'm having to fight the rod tip a little bit just to keep everything balanced. So I've already had to adjust my grip slightly. I grip quite low on the cork, but I'm actually having to push my hand a little bit further up the cork just to take a little bit of strain off. So interesting, yeah, definitely this is for this outfit, the reel is a wee bit light. There's a fish, there we go. Oh, that one is taking some line as well. Okay. Maybe we will get to test the drag system. I'll just knock that up a couple of clicks. What have we got? I'm guessing that's a brownie. Hey, oh, he's off. It was a brownie. So actually, kind of my fault there, because when I hooked it, I had the drag set on the reel a little bit loose. By the time I tightened it up, I probably already made a mess of that. So talk there already about the weight of the reel. And I do think for this outfit, it's a little bit light. You see that tip is always getting pulled down. I'm starting to feel it in my arm. By shifting my grip up the cork, I've managed to find a bit of a fix for it short term, but I think I would definitely prefer to try the bigger size of this thing. But I think I'm going to fish it for a little bit longer. So there we go. So that's important. So 15 minutes fishing maybe. You can see that French leader has already managed to find a way through underneath the spool. So that shows you there's a fair amount of tolerance in there, there's a fair amount of play. That drives me bonkers, and I think most other French leader anglers will know what I'm talking about there. So that now means taking the spool off and getting that French leader coming back on the front of the spool. It's one of those things that if you do this a lot, you'll get it. It drives you absolutely bonkers. And I had a feeling this might be one of the things that with the cheaper reels, with these Amazon reels, might be an issue. With a fly line, it wouldn't be a problem. With your mono French leaders or braid, a real problem. Oh, there's a fish just on the swing. I had a feeling there might be one underneath that tree. Let's get him on the reel. Just underneath the branches of that willow. Exactly where he should be. Nice Grayling. Good fish. Just hear that real ticking drag every time he thrashes like that. Let's get you in the net. There we go. I've made pretty hard work of this. In truth, I haven't fished very well. I've taken a little bit of time to adjust to the reel. I'm trying a couple of new things with the rig, but actually just a good old-fashioned swung nymph under a tree branch there has produced a nice fish. There we go. 20 quid reel. Beautiful Derbyshire Grayling. And I have a feeling there might be one or two more under there. There we go. Thought there should be one down there somewhere. Again, I'll try and get him on the reel. That drag set nice and delicately. From the tumbling, I'd say Grayling. I'm pretty sure. Come on, 2-weight, do your job. Little taps and knocks through the rod. Yeah, nice Grayling. Oh, just hooked as well. Just hooked. So again, during the fight, I heard a couple of little ticks of drag going out. It has got a clicker actually on the drag, which I kind of like actually. It gives you a bit more feedback. There we go. That's what it's about. 20 quid reel. Wild Derbyshire white Grayling. Beautiful stuff. So I think I'm going to give it 5 more minutes in this hole, try and catch one more. I think I've kind of learned the things I wanted to know about the reel already. Always with a French leader reel or your nymphing reel, my 2 things are, does it balance my rod properly? And the answer with this one is no, it doesn't. The second one is, does the line get through underneath the spool? And actually on this one, yes it has, and I think that would bother me. I don't think this is going to be everyone's favourite French nymphing reel. If you're using Euro nymphing lines, the fly line style ones, it probably won't be as much of an issue because they're a bit thicker, they don't always get through. But if you're using the very narrow monofilament leaders, the very fine braid leaders as some people use, I'm not sure this is going to be the one. I've been impressed with the drag system. I think the drag system on this is better than it was on the wish reel. It just feels a bit more sensitive. The wish reel was a bit clunky. It went from none to 100 in a couple of clicks, whereas this thing, it's got nice narrow adjustment. You can't lock it right up, which is, for this style of reel, is absolutely fine. I actually think the drag system on this is quite nice. I think it's a good reel. Try and catch one more fish, see if we can get something to pull some line off it. Okay, just a couple more chucks under here. These are a couple of greedy ones. Don't really need to make these ones because I feel like I've learned everything about the reel that I wanted to from a nymphid point of view, but I don't know, I think there's a few Grayling in here, so a couple more casts won't hurt. There we go. Just a little tap at the end. Don't think, oh, hello. I was just about to say I don't think I need to get this guy on the reel, but then he's taken off. I think he just caught a flow line there. I don't think it's a particularly big fish. What have we got? Little wild brownie. There we go. That was one more greedy one. Didn't need to catch him, but while you're in a pool like that, it's rude not to have one more cast, isn't it? Pretty little wild brown. Back he goes. Good stuff. Righty. Done everything I wanted to there on the French leader. I kind of know a lot more about the reel. Couple of hours fishing with it, you learn a lot about these things. Capacity is absolutely fine. Drag system's pretty good. It's not quite heavy enough for this rod, and to be honest, I think for most 10 footers it was probably a little bit light. For those of you using 9.5 1 weights or 2 weights, it might be all right. But actually, the mechanics of it, the basic mechanics of the reel are pretty good. Actually, I quite like it. What I'm really looking forward to is getting a fly line on here and fishing some duo a little bit further up. Although the last time I tried to put a line on this reel, it took 2 hours. So let's hope that doesn't happen again. Right, so it's now time to take the line off here and put it on here, and as you can see there's a little bit of a size difference with the reels. I'm not 100% convinced this is going to go on. It's one of Yever's lines. It's a Rio single hand spay, and it's pretty chunky. I might have made a bit of a mistake here, we'll see. Okie doke, that's the switch made. Now to pull about 50 yards of, it's not actually fly line backing. This is off an old saltwater reel. I had 400 yards of 80-pound gel spun on the back of it, which we probably don't need on the Derbyshire Derwent. So I'm using a lot of it as fly line backing, just so it's thick and it doesn't tangle too much. There's the fly line. This is going to be really close. Bearing in mind this is a 4-weight line. Granted, it's probably one of the bulkiest 4-weights on the market. Probably this and something like the Rio Gold, super bulky fly lines, big thick heads. I'm not too fussed if the last bit of it is quite tight, because obviously you've always got 20 feet of this out of the rod anyway. This will be one of the smallest 3/4 weights I've ever seen. There's the head. Okay, this isn't going to be too bad actually. It's going to be a bit tight. Yeah, I'll tell you what, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit tight. There's a little bit of space there on this side. It's just touching the top of the spool there. I'm quite surprised at that. It must be a little bit bigger than I thought, because that's gone on okay. That's absolutely fine. As I say, you're always going to have 12 feet line off the reel anyway, at which point it's absolutely spot on. 20 quid Amazon reel, full of surprises. Right, so rigged up and ready to go on, actually this is IB's 8'3" weight. And if I put my hand roughly where I'd be holding the rod, so middle of the cork, you can see there, that balances absolutely beautifully. I can move my arm around. The rod and reel bounce absolutely perfectly there, that's fine. So I think definitely for shorter, lighter rods, actually, this thing, absolutely spot on. And because we're using fly line now, the line going through the cage of the reel isn't going to matter at all, because that's not going to be an issue. So I think particularly for those of you who use shorter rods, lighter rods, I think this could be absolutely spot on. Desperate to catch a couple of fish on it though. Okay, so the plan is we're just going to walk up this fairly skinny water with the duo rig. Got a nice big indicator clink hammer on there. Just try and pick a few pockets. Get used to the kind of weight and balance of this little Amazon reel. It's going to be short casts, lots of stripping line on and off, lots of mending. Hopefully, if there's a few fish in here, a lot of fun. That's nice. That's a good spot for a fish. I've kept that red tag on. I'm already considering changing it for something a bit more natural. The water here is quite clear. Just wonder if that red tag might be a bit too much. There we go. There's a fish. Oh, there'll be one down there somewhere for me. Little Brunski. Little Brunski. Right underneath those tree roots. Pretty little guy. Little wild brown. 20 quid reel. Job's a good one. Nice, well, that was fun. This is kind of all action fishing through here, super fast, lots of casts. I'm hoping we'll find something in here big enough to test the drag system on the reel, but at the very least I'll be stripping line off, I'll be winding line back on. I'll get a lot of use out of this reel in the next few 100 metres. I'll definitely know more about it once I fish this through. There's a fish. There's a fish. Whoa. Where are you going? Ah, nice grayling. Nice grayling. Don't think I'm going to need to get him on the reel. He's stuck around me, but it's definitely a fish I'd want to land. In you go. Nice fish. Lovely fish. Really good fun fishing this, picking these little pockets. I think I actually might have missed this fish a couple of casts before on the same line. There we go. Beautiful grayling. Well, that was fun. I reckon there might be time for one or two more in here. Then we need to jump out. I'm going to give you my full kind of opinions of the 20 quid Amazon fly reel. So far, pretty impressed. There we go. There we go. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right, this guy is on the reel. Just wonder if that's a rainbow. Yeah, this one will test the reel. I like the low range settings on this reel. I don't think it's something where you're going to be able to apply loads of pressure on a fish. Whoa! But actually, down at the kind of areas that we fish at with the river fishing, it's pretty sensible. I'm on 7X at the moment. I'm 2.5 pound tippet. It's a wild rainbow. I can't really pull back too hard. But that drag system has just cushioned this fight so far. We can get this guy in. Yeah, big tick for the reel, that is. That guy absolutely tore off. Nice wild rainbow. Said we wanted one last fish. I think that might just be it. Really pretty wild rainbow. Great one to finish on. Yeah, that was nice. Every now and again you throw a cast and you just think, yeah, that was about right, that was good enough, and I just managed to hook it round the other side of a fallen branch or leaning branch, and sure enough, within a second or two of that nymph just getting down, whack, off he went. The reel had to do a little bit of work there, really first time it had to do a little bit of work. Paid some line out when I asked it to. Good low range drag settings. I think we'll climb out and we'll give our final kind of first day use review of the Amazon Basics 20 quid fly reel. So there we have it. That's the Amazon Basics, or Leo. I'm not sure who Leo is. He's got his name on the reel. I'm not really sure who he is. 18 quid or 20 quid as it is now. Amazon raised the price in a week. Fly reel. Pretty impressed, to be honest. At that kind of money, I think you're getting an awful lot. You're getting a proper drag system, you're getting a proper bearing, it's nice and smooth. It's full machined aluminium, including the handle. It's a little bit bigger than it looks in terms of capacity. I must admit that was my big worry about this, was that it looks tiny for a 3.4. But actually, unless you're using very long headed lines, like maybe a Rio Gold or something like that, and as long as you're not too ambitious with your backing, I think there's plenty of space. I think you've got to be a little bit careful when you spool it up, just make sure, because it's not huge, but it's also not tiny. It's a sensible size. For the 8-foot 3-weight rod, as you can see from there, the balance is absolutely perfect. As we saw earlier with the longer rod, it's actually a little bit too light for me. I think we probably need the 5.6 version. And it's something we've talked about in previous vlogs, is getting that balance right on those longer rods. You actually end up using slightly heavier reels than you might expect. I don't think there's massive benefits to light reels with nymphing kits. But this is absolutely beautiful. It's a sensible colour. There are other sizes available. It's rugged. You know, we've thrown it in sand today. It's been under the water a lot. The drag system's been used when I'm pulling line off, and the odd fish has stripped a little bit off. I think the drag system, in terms of its range, for this kind of fishing is very, very sensible. If you're fishing for GTs or tarpon, it's probably not going to be the reel for you, but you probably weren't thinking of buying this anyway. If you were, you're bonkers. But for a river trout angler, and my feeling is in the larger size for a UK stillwater angler, I think it's pretty sensible. It's protected 7X tippet all day. Every single fish that I've caught today has been on 7X, about 2.5 pound breaking strain. We've not had a single break off all day, and that is down to this drag system's ability to pay off line at short ranges, but accurately. At no point has the spool really spun, it's not gone bonkers. It's about right, it's a sensible drag system. If I was to sum this up, I'd say it feels like a reel from maybe 10 years ago on the marketplace, when they all had those anti-reverse bearings that you can flip over just like you can on this, change it from left to right. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is something that, as long as you look after it properly, is going to last you for an awful long time, I get the feeling. So don't be afraid of buying this thinking it's going to be a 12-month thing. As long as you take care of it, make sure nothing gets inside, little bits of grit and stuff, it's going to be good. On the subject of buying one, if you wanted to treat yourself or a loved one to one of these reels for 20 quid, we'll leave a link in the description box below. Make sure you can pick one of those up. We'll make sure there's good links. I'll also see if I can find them on eBay or somewhere else like that and provide a link to that, because my feeling is they'll be available in different places. And you'll be able to treat yourself, try one out for your own. If you want us to do a slightly longer term review on this reel, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll use it over 6 months and we'll come back and talk about it again. But to be perfectly honest, I think this thing will still be going in a couple of years, let alone a couple of months. So that about wraps that one up. Guys, thank you very much for watching the vlog. Really appreciate it. Let us know if you've enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on the reel. Let us know if there are any other pieces of kit on the market that you'd like to see reviewed, and we'll see if we can do that for you. In the meantime, all I need to say is thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, hit the subs button. Make sure you ring the bell notification, and IB and I will be back very soon with some more fishing and stuff. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.